Good day, my koala crew, and welcome back to the Corner of Remnant. I'm your host, Larissa, and I'm joined by co-host Emperial Dawn.
Hello.
Hello. And today we are discussing Chapter 10 of RWBY Volume 8. Hi, Corey. Yes, which was an amazing episode again. I've really enjoyed the last 3 episodes especially. Well, I've enjoyed the volume overall, but the last 3 have been really, really good.
Yeah, the last 2 especially for me. I've really enjoyed 9 and 10 a lot.
Yes.
Loved 8, but I've really enjoyed 9 and 10.
9 and 10 have been really good, and I just feel like they're being executed really well as well. So I think it was good that they had that break, the mid-season break, and they also had that extra week to work on Chapter 10 too because of everything going on in Texas at the time. So
yeah, or at least the episodes coming forward, if not 10.
Yeah,
all things. Yeah.
Yes.
So again, it's all for the best, and I hope it doesn't hurt the RT and RWBY's back end. I hope it's all for the best.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm more than happy if they take this kind of schedule going forward with the breaks and stuff. Because I remember you back in the day, like especially like Volume 4. I think
Volume 4 especially.
Our experience can come from, because we obviously weren't around for the first 3.
No.
But Volume 4, it was like every other week with maybe a World of Remnant or just a break. And
yeah.
It still had 3-week, 4-week Christmas, New Year's break, Thanksgiving breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't until Volume 5 they started doing every single week, and look at most people's perception of Volume 5. So
yeah, it's good to get an episode each week, but I think they could really stretch things out a bit, and maybe it's also better for them to have maybe a break between each episodes, or have maybe 2 or 3 episodes and then a break and then another 2 or 3 perhaps, but whichever works best for them.
I mean, it all depends on what they're doing, how ambitious the volume intends to be.
Yeah.
And how much the workload is and stuff.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, but this episode was really good. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought the explosion was really well done. I just loved all the character interactions and such, and the story overall. I just really enjoyed the episode. It was very nice and neat. What did you think?
I think from a technical standpoint, from production standpoint, I can't think of a better episode I've seen or heard in particular. I
don't recall anyone saying any issues.
Visually and audio-wise, it might be, I think, the highest standard of an episode I've seen.
My only thought, and I might be wrong, and I was just watching an episode, but I didn't get to that part. When we had the reunion and Emerald was there, I thought she had her weapons in her holsters, but I'm not sure if she did exactly.
I think she did.
I think she did, which means Yang either gave them back to her or they forgot to remove them.
They gave it back to her because at that point Oscar had kind of convinced them that maybe working with her is the best and stuff. And
that was my only thought. I wasn't sure.
That's the thing. I think Oscar would give her weapons back as a sign of trust. Like, we'll give you these back.
Yeah.
And besides, with Emerald, it doesn't really matter. She can mess you up without a weapon anyway.
That's true. She can. Yeah.
It's just that overpowered, and I'm sure we'll get to that conversation. And but I think really audio, and I know in particular for this episode, they had a bit more on hand for the audio team. It wasn't just Jeff and Alex. I think there was a few others they had gotten there.
Okay, cool.
Whether or not that was production related, like COVID delays or anything like that, or the storm, or what, I don't know what necessarily was the reason for it, or if it was just expanding the team in general.
Yeah.
Because I haven't noticed the sound design in a while in an episode as much as say you or Kaylee do. Yeah. Because I know you two sounds.
The music is a really important part of the episode, and quite often you don't notice it when you're first watching it. I really loved the score piece in Ironwood's parts of the episode. How it was very dramatic, but it was also just how well it was done to fit the mood of everything and setting the scene with Ironwood going down this downward spiral. I just thought it was music was great, and we also had that little bit of a song as well during the reunion. Yeah. Yes.
Because it just to me the audio in this episode, it sounded I wouldn't say distinctly different, but it was different enough for me to kind of make a note of it. Yeah. Which is why again I have such praise for the episode, because it caught, again, I don't notice audio that much, but this episode I did, which to me is only a positive.
I think it was, that stuff. Especially with the Ironwood sections and that moment when he's talking about what he's going to do with Mantle, his plans before he does the broadcast. The music's very ominous and it is quite loud as well, even though in a way you still don't hear it because you're focusing so much on Ironwood and what he's saying, but the music is so good in that section. And as always, I'm always excited for the score because I love listening to the scores of the episodes. Without everything else going on, you could just focus on the music because it's amazing. It's so good. Yeah.
But also, it's like the explosion and the aftermath.
That too. Yeah.
Well. Like I think that's where I caught my attention the most. Like, obviously, because we never seen anything like that.
No.
Just in general, like to the layout artists, to the anyone who was involved in doing that scene the way they did it.
It was just animated really well as well. Like, I love the scenes of everyone's reactions, just how like time slowed down as well, everyone reacting to it. And it was just so cool.
I feel like they've done that a few times as well, where they've had these like jump cut, like almost jump scares, almost.
Yeah.
They had it with Oscar in episode 2. I want to say there was one very recently. I can't quite remember it off my head, but obviously, like you didn't see the explosion coming; it just happened, and
it just happened. Yeah.
To it.
Because he was about to ask how the payload was going, and then boom, and he of course thinks it's the bomb, but it's not. I was a little unsure at first, like when I was gonna get comments on my reaction, but I was like, was that the bomb or was that Oscar? And then when I saw them with the bomb, of course, and I was like, that was Oscar then.
And I don't know, I don't know if I'd mentioned it or not, or if this is something I just thought of, because I remember you always kept mentioning Harriet's black eye.
Yeah, it was a shadow. It was a shadow.
I don't think I mentioned. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a shadow, Larissa. But sure, let's do it.
Nah, I know, because I mentioned my reaction like, I couldn't really see it, and then when I went back over the episode afterwards, like, yeah, it's a shadow. God damn it! I thought I saw something everyone else had missed. Never mind, it's fine. It was just a shadow.
Like, especially you looked at that, and you looked like Watts, and like the shadowing definitely looked very similar.
Yeah, it was in the mid-season trailer. The shadow didn't really move from her face, I guess, because that was. They hadn't probably finished editing all of it. It was just, it looked like a black eye, but no, it was just a shadow.
Yeah, and we also got like a really nice like I think we really admire in storytelling in general when there's like seeds planted and like little things that like we can't wait for them to bring up again. And I guess we finally kind of understand the cane to a full degree.
Yes, a bit more about it.
Kind of have the whole picture of what the cane is, and it's like it's essentially just like this weapon, and everyone's always like, oh, it's a cane, you know, how is it hurting people, you know, like other than just blunt impact? But the idea is it absorbs every blunt impact it does over generation and generation and generation.
All this kinetic energy
inside it. Which is funny because I have like a RWBY OC character that is a weapon similar, not nearly as powerful, but a similar idea. And I've seen other OCs use like kinetic energy as like a semblance and stuff like that as well.
The interesting thing
to see that idea put up and how it was released and how, you know, and how like it's interesting, like a lot of people like survived it and stuff, and like, you know, and how, like, you know, obviously we question Hazel is obviously now a big question, you know, while it very much seems like he's gone.
Yeah, I think he was too close to it.
But I guess he had the shield.
Yeah. And also like with the big blast, and it didn't seem to hurt anyone else, yet it destroyed Grimm quite a fair distance away. Made me think if it was something similar to the Silver Eyes power, not necessarily Silver Eyes, but because the blast, if it could kill Grimm quite a fair distance away, it should have injured everyone else nearby, but it didn't. Yeah, it seemed to mainly just affect the Grimm. But of course, since Hazel was right in front of the damn thing, there's every likelihood that he's gone. But we probably won't know for certain until a little bit further on.
It could also be a thing with like fragility of like the Grimm versus people with or without, like that kind of.
That's true too.
Like, because the Grimm are basically just like liquid or gas almost, just in like it's sort of like a phantom solid form, not a real solid form. So that kind of pulse and energy might be far more effective on, say, humans that are far more solid and dense.
That's true. Yeah.
And also we don't know, like it could maybe the Grimm just scared the Grimm away because their leader was killed and the well was destroyed.
Well, they seem to the flying ones, the flying ones especially, because they just dissipate. But
I love the like the yellow for like most of the rest of the episodes. Like yellow, the dust settling. I love that.
I love the sunlight sort of like trying to filter through, and you just see the whale, the Grimm parts of it just dissipating over like gradually.
While it is dead, it's not. It's taking a very long time.
It's taken a long time to disappear. I guess because it's so freaking big, it's going to take time for it to
which is cool
gradually.
Because that also justifies why RWBY wasn't involved like the Silver Eyes, because she also made that point to the Leviathan, where the Leviathan was big, but it was still big enough to be. You know,
it could be affected by it.
Once it got drilled, it did disappear in one go. But you see now, even if the well dies, it's going to take, you know,
This was on a much bigger scale, and it'll be interesting too because of the inside of it and everything. There's parts that may not be grim, that may be left behind, but I think majority of it was.
It's like almost like the bone structure might see, like the skeleton or something might see behind.
Maybe. It was interesting with the shot of Neo dancing, like with the lamp. You could see sort of like looked like ships in the background, so it could have been the ships that were in the loading bays of the whale.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you can sort of see them in the background. I love that scene with her skipping along with the lamp. So
it looks like she's going to use that as a bargaining chip.
Yep.
Cinder, which is interesting because we always thought, well, what was she going to ask? But it seems like she's just going to use it as like, "Here, Cinder, if you don't want to die, come get this. I'll tell you the password, but we have to get Ruby, basically."
Yeah. Interestingly, I don't know if there's any particular question that Neo would want to ask.
No.
That's the thing as well. No. And whether, I'm sure there'll be a way for her to do it with Jin, whether she just show the question on her scroll or whichever. But I think at the moment, her goal, she wants to fight Ruby and kill Ruby, or at least, revenge with Ruby. Yeah. So at the moment, it makes sense for her to use it as a bargaining chip with Cinder. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's quite interesting too. Like I kind of, this episode really kind of brought to mind like how, especially in the villain side, like how many characters have or haven't interacted or have seen each other or haven't seen them, because I completely forgot in episode 8 that Watts and Cinder hadn't seen each other since Raven's camp.
No, they haven't. Yep.
And that's why Watts was so surprised. That completely missed me until this episode. I kind of realized, they haven't seen each other in that long.
No, they haven't. And he wouldn't know about Neo either.
And also the fact, and also that they all think that, or Cinder and Watts basically think everyone else is dead, but Salem.
Yeah.
Basically, they think they're the only two left in their mind.
And I think the interesting thing too with this is like Salem and everyone have forgotten about Neo. I guess in their minds that she wasn't important. Yeah, so Salem didn't even consider the fact that it could have been Neo who took the lamp. She just assumed Emerald, Hazel, or someone else had taken it, not Neo as such.
I mean, obviously, if there weren't intruders in the ship at the time, I'm sure it's come to that conclusion. But it seems so obvious. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there are intruders here who know about the lamp. Surely they're the ones who took the lamp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's gone. So yeah, Neo took it shortly after the others walked out of the room. Yes. So going over the episode from start to finish. So we have, of course, the first scene when we confirm Robin survived the Cinder trashing the place, which is great. I'm happy, and it showed her and Crow escaping. They still got Jarks. But so Ironwood is really pissed off about Crow, and especially Crow, because they, don't return until you have Crow run with you, basically, all in custody. And those poor staff, they're like, we don't really want to tell. It just shows, though, like, they can tell how angry and obsessed and that Ironwood's become, that, they had to tell him this bad news, like, Crow and Robin escaped, and they really didn't want to tell him.
Yeah, but again, like the dude's in the middle of a war that he almost has no way. Dogs. He feels like he almost has no way to win. But like, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But again, I love like the whole I don't give a damn about Jacques.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about Jacques.
And it's so funny when I first saw this scene.
I love the music in this too at the start when you have Ironwood looking out the windows. And the doors are still damaged too. I like that from original fight and stuff. Sorry,
I love that. That's fine. When you obviously see that little flash of Crow and Robin.
Yes, yeah.
And so I thought at first that Crow, in his Crow form, somehow tackled the guy down. But if you go back and watch, he does transform.
He transforms as he jumps for poor dude. Well, he wasn't expecting that.
And then he very, very quickly chokes out a guy, like in a second, like just grabs him, chokes him out.
I don't know if he completely choked him out, like to faint, but he did. It was a very brief choke and then lunge at the other dude. So,
but again, it's just one of those things where, Kerry isn't over the shoulder saying, can we add a few more frames here, because everyone has to do.
It was just a brief sort of like seeing the show really that they escaped.
Just that idea of like, people work from home. You got to render something, send it, get it confirmed, and if it's not confirmed, you got to send it back, change it, re-render it. It's a lot more of a process than having someone say over your shoulder. As a supervising director and stuff like that. So little things like that, I think, just like can completely be, forgiven.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they were able to escape, which is good. So it'll be interesting also to see if they meet up with the others or where they go.
They haven't left the facility yet. So
no.
Again, I think we are going to get that Crow-Robin Ironwood confrontation. Because they clearly aren't escaping.
No.
They're still in the facility.
Well, yeah. Well, I think Ironwood's at the academy.
Yes.
Where we believe that the holding cells were right at the bottom of Atlas, but we don't know for certain.
It wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing's connected. Like
Could be.
Like from the top of the academy all the way to the bottom of the middle.
It would make sense, yeah.
Like one elevator can go between them all, and then somewhere in the middle is the vault.
Yeah.
Which I'm quite surprised we still haven't seen the vault yet.
No, we haven't.
I assume we'll get there.
We'll get there eventually, whether Penny gets down there or whatever happens. So from that scene, of course, we had the explosion, which was amazing. And we got to see everyone's sort of reactions to the explosion, which was really cool. And yeah, of course, oh my god, I forgot on their name.
Like the Aesops.
Aesops.
You kind of see the reaction.
Yeah.
Maro thinks everyone's dead.
Yeah, it's like they were still in there. I love seeing his reaction to them, and like he's got real concern for the kids, and I just love that with Maro.
I did think like Elm shouting was a really nice touch because the explosion.
What?
I thought that was quite a cute. For someone who hasn't liked Elm this volume, I thought that was quite a cute touch.
An interesting interaction too. Like Vine went to put his hand on Elm's arm, and she like shrugged him off.
Yeah, that's always been a thing with Aesops. Like they're meant to be a team, especially Elm and Vine are meant to.
Be working as a team, and you can tell there's rifts in the team at the moment. Also, I thought it was nice too how Winter did walk up to Maro and put her hand on his shoulder as well. Did she put her hand on his shoulder? No, she just walked up to him.
I think she might have went to, but
they thought about it.
But then I think she talked to
then Ironwood
contacted her instead.
Yeah.
And then obviously they take the payload back, but obviously Ironwood doesn't realise that it wasn't them yet.
No, not at that stage, yeah. And the others are okay. It's good to see they're all good. And poor Emerald's distraught because...
I mean, again, I don't want to nitpick or anything. It was interesting to see Jean healing Oscar.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd seen John's aura break just probably not that long ago.
No.
Maybe I'm being a little... I don't know.
His aura does, as far as we know, he does regain his aura really quickly. So it could be that he had enough to do a short heal on Oscar.
At the end of the day, it's not like they're in a combat situation where he healed him and that saved his life. Like, like completely just like, there's no... healing him was just like it wasn't necessary to the scene, so it didn't really matter whether it was there or not. So it doesn't really matter. I
think like he probably has regained it enough that he can do a little bit.
Again, we still don't know exactly how everyone works now, or like
and I really get the feeling that it's very individual with how quick they get it back. So, and as far as we know, Jean does regenerate his aura really quickly.
Yeah, like we know, like Hazel regains his aura really quickly. We know like John has a lot of it. We know Ren fly some more like glass cannons with their aura and stuff. Yeah. So, like, we know that much at the very least.
Hey, Kaylin! How are you? Welcome in.
Hi.
We're just recapping over the episode.
We're about to get to the best part.
The best
in
part?
My opinion. No question. Best part of the volume so far.
Is that going to be... I was trying to think what came next. It was, Watts and Cinder. Right, of course. That was really good. Like, when I first watched it, I was a little unsure about it, but, like, after rewatching it again, I really, really loved it. And it addressed so many issues that we've all voiced about Cinder, and I really love that interaction. So.
And it really is. And again, I don't think I was expecting it to be Watts. I think I was more expecting maybe Emerald to be the one to kind of not to this degree, but like a similar conversation. But I'm so glad it was Watts, because that Watts is obviously antagonistic, and obviously this ties back to Volume 4 when you see the first two interact, and you can tell there's this issue. Obviously, Watts is Elysian, so Cinder has a problem with that. There's almost like a dad-daughter relationship almost between these two. I got a vibe of, like, not that they are.
No.
I'm just saying, in terms of like, there's a similar like Watts is kind of like the tough love father almost trying to tell Cinder.
Yeah.
Again, not just his intention, that's just the vibe I kind of got.
I sort of get the feel like he's the more her superior as such as well. And like he warned her against her plan and he didn't listen to her. So he was like, well, I did tell you. And yeah, but I really like how they addressed all of that and how Watts said, just because you suffered doesn't mean that you are entitled for all of this, for this power. You got to earn it. You got to be worthy. I really love that.
You have to jump to it. It was building up to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
What's your favorite bit? Yes, discuss.
No, I'm saying I liked in general, of course, obviously how they address again, as far as they know, everyone's dead. But
yes.
Salem will come back eventually. So now we gotta get back, which to me tells me we're not going to see Salem the rest of the volume.
I don't think so.
Ironwood's going to be
at least not for a little bit. Yeah.
For the end of the volume, and then we'll see Salem with whatever Volume 9 brings. We still don't know what Volume 9 is going to be at all, really.
And I guess also bring it up before I forget the point as well, is if he does get the relic and raises Atlas up, the whale's still on Atlas right now, along with Salem, so then I just need to kick it off the edge.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, that's an interesting point too, because if he does raise Atlas up to try and escape from the Grim and everything, the whale's still on Atlas, and that's where Salem was destroyed. So as far as we know, that's where Salem will pull herself back together again. Will be there, so
that's a very concerning point, actually.
Yeah. Anywho, yes. Yeah. Cinder wants.
Yeah, I love Cinder's usual stick. She just wants her power, and
she's power hungry.
And Watts and Cinder have never gotten along. It's no. I love I don't work for you kind of thing, and yeah, Cinder will use bravado, and then we get the laugh and stuff, and that nice work.
Yes.
And again, I remember so distinctly saying this, and again, this is biased because I remember I've kind of theorized that this would happen with Cinder this volume.
Yeah.
Because I remember distinctly in Volume 5 when I think that I was like, if Cinder loses here, they have to make failure a part of her character.
Yes. Again, because she does keep failing. Yeah.
Which ties into Red versus Blue, which a lot of RWBY does.
Yeah.
And a lot of story elements and semblances and that stuff. We saw in Red versus Blue. For those who have seen that, there's a character called Texas who her whole identity is failing.
Yeah.
That's her arc. Is that she's a failure despite her being the best.
Yeah.
Which again is very similar to Cinder.
Yeah.
And again, they addressed it, became a character, and we saw that Cinder had a guttural reaction to that. She she thinks so highly of herself that she doesn't want to accept the fact that she always fails.
Yeah. So
when it was thrown to her face, she kind of had to sit there and kind of deal with that.
Yeah.
And again, I love that Watts referenced Freya.
Yes.
That was awesome. I love that they referenced Raven.
Yes.
And again, I told you back at the camp that wasn't going to be a good idea, but you wanted everyone in one place to get all your revenge at once, and you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not about being strong. You have to be smart, which is a really good fandom criticism that a lot of people give Cinder. Is that
she doesn't think everything through.
Volumes 2 and 3, before she had power, she was really smart.
That's true. Yeah, she was planning and calculative.
She was planning everything. It was all meticulously. But once she got that power, she felt she didn't need to do that anymore, and she felt like that was a privilege that she had now, that she didn't have to be smart. She had the power.
Had the strength. Yeah.
But what stood it back in her face, where it's if it wasn't for me, you would have done all that stuff for Beacon, because I was the one who made the virus. While I wasn't there, I helped you with that. And but once you got that power, it was all gone. It's not about being deserving. You have to be worthy.
Yep.
And all you've been as a bloody migraine.
Yes.
That's a great line.
And it is good to she does feel like she's entitled to all this power because of what she's gone through and what she's suffered. But as Watts said, that doesn't mean you are entitled for all of that. You got to be worthy of it, and you got to work hard. And
not to pigeonhole people into general, but I think that's a very good point for real life.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people who go through stuff feel like they deserve the world, and not that they don't. Everyone who goes through shit deserves help and deserves to be helped from that situation.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people these days tend to ask for a bit much.
Yeah.
Going through some
stuff. I guess also those who maybe,
this is also coming from someone who hasn't gone through much stuff. So
higher up in society and think they're entitled for things because of who they are. And that's kind of get the feeling with Cinder. She's just always, because she's got this power, she's entitled to all this. And I was like, well, no, you're not. But yeah, I really love that interaction. And
it just sucks because as a villain, now I kind of want to see her succeed. I want to kind of overcome this, but obviously that will come at the expense of Penny.
Yeah.
But I really like too how again Cinder was like, It's like, I don't want Penny dead, you idiot.
Yeah, I don't want her
dead.
Exactly. And Watts is like, I think you've forgotten that I don't work for you, I work for Salem.
I was like, too, like the whole thing is like, I thought it's like, again, because like we always kind of figured that the virus and stuff would have Penny under control, but it's like,
interesting to learn a bit more about it is a virus, and it's about her metal body succumbing to it.
It's basically just a program that tells her go to the vault and destroy yourself.
As we saw previously episodes,
Because again, because she is a conscious, she has an aura, her programming is too advanced, and we also remember as well that Watts is great, but not with Atlas tech, not with something like Penny.
This is something new, and she is fighting it, though it does look like eventually, unless there's they can get some antivirus off her in there or something, her metal body's going to eventually succumb to the virus.
Yes.
So
we'll have to kind of wait and see. And it's interesting too when like right before Watts kind of deals with the final crushing mental blow. Like obviously like Cinder was powering up, and I keep watching the episode. I can't tell if it's meant to be fire or wind, because like
I think it's a bit of both. I don't know. It's
yellow hint, like tinge. It's over the dust settling in the sunset or sunrise, I guess. I couldn't tell if it was wind or fire. Not that it matters. I just thought, like, I remember looking back, because obviously she's used like that when obviously she fought Neo. She had like that kind of wind around her, and it's similar to what Freya did and stuff. But I couldn't tell if it was meant to be fire or not. But not that matters. It was just a curious point I'd bring up. Then obviously, we have them finally getting communication contact and being like told go through the subway tunnels and stuff, and you'll end up back at the manor. And I love that scene in the subway. Before we get to the subway itself, which I thought was really good, but just like
they're walking through the the tunnels.
Like, I love that Yang, brings up the emerald thing and blames Emerald for her arm, which I really loved. It's a really nice, like connecting.
It's because of her. I have partly because of her.
Partly her because of her is why I have this. I love that. I love that Jean also too was like, you were a part of death, just like you're a part of Yang losing her arm. Like that all boils down back to you and Cinder. So I love that. I love that Ren, who doesn't have as much of a connection, is also more like the peaceful one.
Yes.
He's kind of do that, and Oscar obviously grateful to Emerald, and obviously wasn't there, so he doesn't have that experience. He's more willing to give her a second chance, and then of course the conversation comes up with Oz. I like how Ren's like, I figured. And I'm curious too if that's like hinting at maybe like that, like maybe Semblance could kind of sense both minds. Like that'd be really cool.
Oh,
Ren could sense both minds.
Both minds. That would be interesting.
That'd be a really cool detail. But either way, even if it was just his, his general kind of sensiness as Ren does.
Yes.
I love that. Ren's always the one to sense stuff. Like obviously when the Aesops attack them, Ren noticed before it happened. I always love that kind of Ren always the one who noticed stuff. Despite never noticing Nora.
Well, I love this conversation as well, and how Oscar explained about Oz taking the brunt of all the torture, and you can see Emerald listening in on this conversation as well. Explains about the cane, which is good too.
I get the idea of cane. Like there's a little bit of power left, so we'll see that kind of
confirmation that it still has some power in it, but you use most of it up then for that explosion.
That was a big explosion.
And I guess also too, because from what we know is that when Oscar's using magic, that sort of gets the merge to happen. But I guess because in this aspect he was using the cane, he wasn't using the magic in his body from Ozpin, he was using the cane, so I think that wasn't such
the way he said it, he wasn't even using magic, he was just using
kinetic energy.
Which obviously had a similar visual appearance, but it wasn't quite
well he used the shield to shield himself, but a bit different than actually using the magic within himself
to shield himself. And the rest. So now I'm curious again if that's what Oz tried to do against Cinder, but it didn't work. So I'm curious because obviously that was like a big question going this episode is how similar was this situation?
It was. Very similar.
I'm curious if we'll ever get more on that, or if Cinder just straight up killed Oz and that was it. I wonder if we'll ever get more.
No.
I'm just curious if that's a seed we're meant to think back to at some point.
Maybe.
Or if that's just something that happened and we're past that.
It could be a bit of both. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
And then, of course, we saw the subway. I love how you can hear the crying baby. I love seeing all the people and the kids and all the different. And it's
there were a bunch of academy students, there were a bunch of just civilians and stuff.
Yeah, there's businessmen there. There was families. It was really good to see a whole mixture. There was a couple faunuses in there, not a huge amount, of course.
Obviously, you see Emerald relating to a bunch of kids who are there without parents around them and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. Yeah, no, I really just I love seeing that visual of just getting all. I just really appreciate that. It also made me think too, because obviously we obviously I remember you had the point back in episode 8.
Yeah.
I think that is it a safe idea to have everyone in the subway and stuff?
Yes.
With obviously the Sentinels and just in general.
I guess all
the walls are quite reinforced. Like obviously you build a structure underground. It's not just rock.
It's going to be pretty reinforced.
And,
so
the Sentinels probably can't get into there and stuff.
Yeah, I guess out of everywhere on Atlas, it probably is the safest point for them.
That would be the next safest place, but obviously Ironwood doesn't trust that because he obviously knows the Sneeze would be involved in that. So yeah, or the Academy, but again, maybe they would take too long because the Academy is maybe you can only get there through air transport to get to the Academy. Might not be able to walk there. You might have to use the public transport rings, either two.
Oh yeah.
But then obviously we get the idea of Oscar reaching out to Emerald and being like,
we could,
you can do, you can use your help. Which a part of me feels like the cynic part of me is here, it's like I don't know if I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Don't just use me for my power. Not that's how Oscar meant it.
Well, I think not just really her power, but just her abilities and everything. Like her as a person, as well as she has a very strong semblance, and I think he's also just trying to get Emerald.
Yeah, think about that's why Cinder got Emerald in the first place, because she had a cool semblance.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if Emerald resents that idea in any way of being used for a semblance. Or not, maybe she doesn't. Maybe but because a semblance is a part of you, it's your aura, maybe it's a bit different.
I sort of got more the feeling it wasn't just about a semblance, but it was like they could use her help.
I could imagine that being an angle.
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
Emerald could interpret it as, but I know that wasn't Oscar's intention.
Emerald's always been the one where it's possible that she could have a redemption arc. And so I'm hoping, but it'll be interesting when eventually the confrontation comes up with Cinder, what side she's going to choose.
Yeah, and it seems like we're heading that way. I imagine now that Cinder and
possibly
Neo
Cinder's got a choice here too, because she was going to go down to the vault and wait for Penny, or she could meet up with Neo and then confront with Ruby. And of course even though I would mention in the broadcast about Penny and her friends hiding, they don't know for certain that Penny's with Ruby and the others yet. So
no, but Watts still might be able to know where she obviously Watts was rebuting the fact that he can't control her, but he still might know where.
But he's not necessarily going to know that Ruby's there. But it's still
I guess.
To me, I still feel like there's a choice with Cinder here. Either she joins up with Neo to confront Ruby, or
there really don't think much of a choice, because obviously Neo kind of threatens Cinder, being like, your boss is gonna stay dead, but you will unless you help me, get revenge. Whether that was referring to Salem or referring to herself in terms of the threat. Without this, you're dead. Whether that's
I don't know how Watts is going to see this too, but if they do work out that Penny and Ruby are in the same place, then
I don't know why I like the fact that obviously Cinder took a photo of Neo and she didn't want it. She obviously was like, fuck off, go away. But I thought that was so and even Neo's photo that she sent was just, I don't know, it was it looks so silly. It come off as serious as them. It kind of took me out of the moment a tiny bit.
I thought it was hilarious.
I was like, oh, that's just so silly. but it's Neo, so I guess that makes sense.
But then, yawning. I've had coffee. I'm awake.
Then we have a bit of an awkward jump.
I can't remember what part was next. Was it the Ironwood and Aesop's, or was it the Ruby and the Gang? I think it was Ironwood and Aesop's next, wasn't it?
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, so of course they said it wasn't their pay. It wasn't the bomb. Then they still have the bomb. And Harriet, of course, is mad that Crow and Robin, I want to say Raven, escaped.
I feel like the Ironwood was frantically still trying to maintain everything, he was still doing his job, as a general, kind of trying to make sure everything's under control and stuff. So
before he breaks the table.
Detail. So
then he realized Penny blackmail, like you said, he should have done it with Crow, and of course with the kids with
friend. Yang and Jean.
Yeah, like
I would assume they were still in custody.
Yeah, and he was going to use them as a threat to Penny.
Yeah, which is really interesting because I obviously when Winter did that, let them go. I thought like, oh, that's just like a nice, cool gesture. I didn't expect it to be turned back around on her.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming, so I really actually liked it.
I kind of saw it in a way. I like how Winter's like first like, what for, sir? And that's and I'm like, thank God they're not with him anymore. But then of course Harry stepped up and said, well, Winter did let them go. Because Harry didn't like that decision at all. That Winter let them go. So
I remember too that whether Winter felt the same way or not, that Winter means a lot to Ironwood. Ironwood has a real trust and respect for Winter. Yeah. And
it's going to be shaken a little bit by this because he feels that she let him down.
That's the thing too that I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
We were talking before the stream that there's been a lot of debate this week about Ironwood, and I've seen the words the Rooster Teeth writing staff so many times this week. And I'm
God.
I'm like, I don't know if it's just us. I don't know if we're the crazy people. I feel like if you're into RWBY, if you're a fan of RWBY, you know who's making the show. I know that's not a common thing for most shows. I'm like, you don't necessarily know the writers, the directors, the actors for every show you really love. But I feel like for RWBY, you kind of get a bit of a closer community in terms of the creators and the show.
Yes.
So people keep saying it's like, okay, well, one, if you're saying the writing staff, I don't think you're a real fan.
No.
In most cases, I'm sure there are exceptions.
Yeah. I feel like they've been doing a really great job with Ironwood's character.
Yeah.
Am
I mad that they turned Ironwood into a villain, like a proper villain again? Sure, a little bit, but I'm not. I mean, I don't hate him or the writers.
He always had the potential to go down that path.
I still think him and Raven are still the best written characters.
Yeah.
I still stand by that. And maybe Watts is also up there too. I really like.
Yeah.
We haven't had as much of
it. Does say in the intro song about heroes choosing the wrong side. So I feel like that's sort of in reference here to Ironwood, where he's going down this path now where he is turning into a villain. And it's the song Fear as well, turning into the thing that you feared you will become.
Yeah, like and again, we're like, we had that seed planted at the start of the volume. How much Winter meant for Ironwood? Again, that was the last straw, I think, for Ironwood. He was really distraught by being lied to by the team. And
yes.
Stuff. He was like, I'm trusting you guys with everything.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to tell me? And they didn't.
They didn't.
And I still don't blame RWBY for that.
No, she didn't feel like that they trusted him enough to tell him that information.
Anything, I'd be a bit more. Maybe this is just my little angst showing here. I'm a bit more like. I get the Robin thing a little more.
Yeah.
That one I get being a bit. I understand that one maybe.
But what you trusted Robin over me, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Like I don't know. Again, maybe this is my Bumblebee angst coming through. I'm not sure. And we'll get to that. But I do really like. Again, I think it makes, like I said, with Fear, with the end of last volume, we looked through Ironwood through volumes 1 through 2. I will say that it's a bit of it's happened a bit over the show with Lionheart.
Yeah.
And stuff. I feel like I definitely hope Theodore. This doesn't happen. I hope Theodore's good. We keep Theodore, and he's a good character.
Well, from the books, I would say so. He's all right, but yeah.
At the same time, again, it's the idea that these are. I forgot what the group is called, but they're like the Tin Man, the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
And they're the failures of that role.
Yeah.
Just like Oz is the failure as the wizard. Yes. But the idea that Yang, Blake, Weiss, and RWBY will kind of take those roles in a sense, but be the good versions of that kind of thing. So it also makes sense that all of Osmond's lieutenants are failing, which also again just speaks on how, despite all the experience Ozpin has, he still can't fix this, and he knows that. Yeah. But it just also shows by his lieutenants, by Crow losing his mind, by the Tin Man not having a heart.
Yeah.
By Lionwood, by Ironwood not having. What was the Tin Man again?
It was about having a heart, wasn't it?
Having a heart.
Yeah.
And Lionheart was not having.
And he was the cowardly lion.
Okay, what was the lion trying to get? Was that not a heart?
Wasn't he trying to bravery or something? I thought, but.
Is that also a heart?
Yeah, I don't think it was really a heart as such, but
okay, I clearly need to brush off my wisdom.
I think he wanted to be a bit more brave because he's the cowardly lion.
Okay, maybe he just wanted bravery. Maybe that was just what he wanted.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched The Wizard of Oz.
But yeah, and the idea that I guess the fact that they all are failing, while sure as an on-screen thing might be frustrating.
Yeah.
I think from a storytelling long-term kind of what you're trying to reference from, it works.
Yes.
But obviously more casual fans don't know all this stuff.
No.
So it's going to be more frustrating for the casual fans. And I get that.
Yeah. I really like the path Ironwood's going down, even though he frustrates me sometimes, but I really like it from a story point of view. It does make sense, yeah.
Because again, in Ironwood's mind, if he just got the relic and he raised Atlas, yes, Mantle will be left for themselves, which is bad. I get that. And
and he sort of accepted that. Like, he doesn't want to save Mantle, he wants to save Atlas.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, again, but again, like, and he even mentions in his speech, like he mentioned the technology. And again, he's not wrong to say if there's any kingdom in the world that had the time to prepare itself that would win, it would be Atlas.
Yeah.
If Atlas could get away, rise up into the atmosphere, and kind of just self-sustain itself for long enough to where it could figure out a way to finish this.
Yes.
So I get it, but of course, what are you sacrificing to get to that point, and is that worth it? And obviously, our heroes disagree with that. And I do hope that in the end, our heroes are proven right, because obviously, this is a situation where Ironwood could still be proven right in the end.
Yeah.
Like depending on how much Salem wins and how much Salem conquers and stuff.
Mm.
So obviously, I know our heroes will win in the end. You'd assume, but where that will go from here.
Then, of course, find out that they don't have them anymore, and he has a bit of a tantrum, breaks the table. And then they find out about the ships that Whitley had ordered to go down to Mantle. And
I would immediately knew that it was Weiss. Like, I love that little detail.
Yeah.
And again, and that's the thing too. Like, I get where Ironwood's frustration comes from. It's like,
he's trying to do what he feels is right, and everyone is making it difficult, and it's getting in his way.
And I think for him, more importantly, is that his mind, it's like, yes, I'm trying to save Atlas, but he feels it's for the betterment of all of Remnant. Well, yes, that might sacrifice Mantle. Yeah. But while our heroes, but then you have half the heroes who are Mantle. Yeah. And the other half of our heroes who are Remnant.
Yes.
But to Ironwood, it just keeps coming, something being back in the face. Mantle.
Yeah.
Mantle. And it's like, guys, I get what you're doing against me, but you're not proving yourself that you're trying to, when Ironwood looks at our heroes, all he sees is them trying to save Mantle. Now, yes, they're trying to save all of Remnant.
All of Remnant,
like all they're doing is trying to save Mantle.
It's always been about Mantle, hasn't it?
So that's just frustrating him. It's like, if the heroes looked more like they were trying to save all of Remnant, maybe Ironwood would be a bit more understanding of it.
Yeah.
But because to him, it looks like it's just Mantle. That's what's frustrating him further.
Yeah.
Because to him, looking at the heroes, it's all about Mantle, as he says. But then, obviously he has to make a call. And that's why we've got a bit of a jarring cut, like just a jump cut, and all of a sudden, heroes all together, nice music.
Well, it was jump cut to Cinder and Watts.
Oh, fine.
Because he goes to make a call, and Watts seems like he's almost on a phone and go, and I'm like, did Ironwood call Watts? No, he didn't. That's when Neo messaged Cinder.
He's fixing up his collar and stuff.
Yeah. And then we cut to the heroes.
Yeah, go up to the heroes. Again, I like the scene in hindsight. I just feel like editing-wise, it's very jarring.
It was a bit.
Get them there, a little bit of a song. I get Yang saying, I miss you too, which is obviously a reference to their previous hug, but again, Ruby not saying anything, just... I don't know, I feel like
Ruby didn't need to say anything, though. Just the way she jumped on her and they spun around and she was crying, and so I love that.
I think the Bumblebee stuff worked well. I love the Bumblebee stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. I just think that until that scene, it just felt like there was something missing, a piece of dialogue, or just
I didn't feel that way at all. I thought Ruby jumping into Yang's arms and how she was crying, and it was just like she was showing that she missed Yang a lot without actually saying that she missed her.
Maybe it was just the performance of the line I would have done differently. I don't know. There was just something to me. There was just something a little bit missing. And I thought the Weiss and Yang hug could have been a little more.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit more, but.
But again, I actually did like the Bumblebee moment of them.
I love that too. I'm glad it wasn't a kiss. It was just more like a just a heartwarming little moment.
If there's two things that have bugged me this past week, it's half of Twitter being mad at Ironwood.
Yes.
And the other half bitching about Bumblebee kiss.
It wasn't the moment for a kiss.
It's a Twitter aftermath that I don't like about Bumblebee. It's my whole feed being filled up with stuff. I'm like,
I love that little moment with their touching heads and how Yang put her hand against Blake's cheek. It was so beautiful.
I really thought that was really
Yeah.
sensible.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
And it's one of those things too, when if we keep doing stuff like that,
Yeah.
all the idiots that keep saying Bumblebee is forced, it's little stuff like this that isn't a kiss. That's going to make people more accepting and more understanding of their relationship and stuff. And then when they finally do kiss, people will hopefully be more accepting. If they just kiss now, then the Bumblebee is forced train would just fly off the goddamn rails.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like, it was just a really nice, heartwarming moment. Yeah, and again, there was no dialogue with this. It was just so
I liked the silence.
I loved how they just showed it to each other with the way they interacted. I really liked it.
Obviously, it's like a nice little tie-in to obviously Yang mentioning earlier in the volume. You know, does she think less of me?
Yeah.
There didn't need to be words between them.
They both have been thinking of each other whilst they've been separated. So, because Blake sort of referred to her as well.
I will say that Ruby and Oscar going into a hug.
Yes.
Put the arm down. You just see Oscar with his hands up, but his face doesn't change.
Yeah.
That was a little awkward. I think. Again, there's these little things in this just this little one contained scene.
Yeah.
Like was just done and maybe didn't go through enough of the cycles. But again, COVID, snowstorm. Maybe I'm being pedantic and being a little.
I thought it was still fine, and I like how Ruby's like instantly just like, "What's she doing here?"
Yeah, which again is I'm glad. I think that's the right reaction. I'm really glad.
But of course they got cut off because that's when Ironwood did the emergency broadcast and showed the ships being cut down. I like how Weiss was like, "They were going to save people."
Yeah,
like, yeah, you tried, but
Again, that's another thing. Again, like, I feel like the line could have been delivered a little bit differently because I thought that was a bit of that was almost funny the way
they were going to save people.
Like that. But again, I guess the idea too is because they were just manned drone ships. They weren't actually people on that. Which, of course, when you look at it, it looks worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
Which again goes to whole people, having their bullets aimed at Ironwood and stuff. But again, with the visuals, this episode, like. Such a good visual. I love that again. It was like a hologram at first, then it just warped through to see him him actually saying all this stuff.
Yeah, it definitely gave again the evil villain sort of vibe with him with the how it was done with the the lighting and what he was saying there.
I wouldn't say quite was evil. I don't know if I'd say that far.
I just got that vibe, but it was
I think to me it was just more the vibe of just like
a dictator and. Yeah, I don't know.
Just more seriousness.
Yeah.
It was like I'm done playing.
Yeah, done playing games.
I don't think I got quite dictator or villainy yet.
Okay. But he's basically given them the ultimatum with either Penny going to the vault and leave Mantle alone, or if they don't do that, he's going to drop the bomb and Mantle and kill all the people down there.
Then in his mind, there'll be nothing left to protect, so then he'll have to help.
Yes. So it really leaves the decision what the guys are going to do. At the moment, Penny's still out of it, as we see.
We also got to mention, too, that obviously Nora looks good back on her feet.
I'm being raided. Thank you, Peanut Boy, for the raid.
Hi, raiders.
Hello, welcome in. We just talked about RWBY. I'm not sure if you're a RWBY fan or not, but welcome in. Oh, deadbolt. Did I...
So we're talking about the most recent episode of RWBY that just came out for first members. So if you haven't seen episode 10, then be warned.
Yes, we are discussing spoilers.
This episode comes out tomorrow for non-first members.
Yes.
So just a little bit of a podcast here talking about that, and we're almost done. We're just talking about the end of the episode here, so we're almost wrapping up.
Yes.
Welcome
in. Thank you.
Anyone who's around, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes. We're just discussing the end of the episode, actually. We're, on track.
Overall, though, we've really enjoyed the episode.
Yes.
One of our favorite ones, especially visually and audio-wise, was really
Overall,
good.
the episode was just, it was really well done in our opinions, and we really enjoyed it.
Something we didn't mention earlier, too. I love how this volume is working really
I haven't
hard.
edited that command. Sorry, keep going.
This volume has really worked hard to kind of... Again, I wouldn't go as far as say fix Cinder, but really kind of work just to kind of re-establish her and kind of redo and kind of fix all the faults that people have had in her character, and they've really tried hard to kind of fix that. So I really appreciate the effort put on there. Whilst the opposite has happened with Ironwood, not that we agree with that, but it seems like that's a lot of the fandom's opinion on that.
Yeah.
A part of me really hopes that the bomb is just more of an empty threat, more than also he has one. But whether or not he's willing to do it, I know he says he is.
I don't know. I get it. I am concerned that he will do it.
I am just curious. Like, I would love if. How would you feel if the volume ends of kind of like? I'm just trying to think.
Well, we've got a couple of different options here. Either they get the relic and they raise Atlas up. The relic gets out of the vault, someone else uses it for something, and Atlas falls. Or they don't do anything with the relic and Ironwood bombs Mantle. Either way, Mantle's not going to get out of this
I'm just thinking if there's a possible way to end the volume with like Atlas being raised, but Ironwood and the team still coming to a mutual agreement and kind of fixing the situation.
Yeah.
So,
I guess in a way they have no choice but to go down to the vault, but I don't know. Yeah, 100% do it if Penny doesn't meet his demands. Yeah, well, he has nothing really to lose out of bombing Mantle. So.
Also, like, we didn't mention that I like that Ironwood was like, Watts was either incompetent or betrayed us, but either way, right now it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The dress, I like that.
And I like how too, like his laugh, his medical laugh is like, it's always been about Mantle, hasn't it? It's just like, like now he's like, I'm willing to kill all those people in Mantle to be able to rise Atlas up and save those on Atlas.
Yeah, exactly, Corey. Like that's his reasoning.
Exactly. So he has nothing to lose by bombing Mantle. Whether they help him or they don't, he bombs Mantle and then they have no choice but to work with him. And how he says about the title that he gave her, the Protector of Mantle, and all of that. It's just,
it's one of those things too where we keep acting as if it's an ultimatum, but like right now Penny doesn't have a choice. She's going to do that regardless.
Well, yeah, if her metal body succumbs to virus, she will end up going down in the vault.
Which seemingly she had. It was just a matter of the Hound kind of temporarily powered her down kind of thing, but she was on that path.
She was on that path, so it's whether the others will allow her to do that is the thing.
I'm just really curious again if we're going to get.
And they have an hour to respond, so that's not a lot of time either.
Yeah, I imagine
especially with Penny being out at the moment. Yeah,
I imagine that'll pretty much be the rest of the volume. I mean, we have 4 episodes left. It's a bit longer than an hour.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to not do what he says and try and do some other plan, or?
Also, again, it's not just that simple because you also have Penny with the virus. You have obviously.
There's Cinder and Neo possibly coming for them as well.
We haven't dealt with RWBY and Penny while Penny's been hacked yet. We haven't dealt with Penny dealing with that yet.
No.
So. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So whether or not they're going to be able to do his commands within the hour also seems very less likely with everything going on. We'll find out tomorrow, possibly, unless it shows. We might get a bit of Chrome Robin too, possibly, with what they're going to be doing.
Well, that's the
what
thing
their
too.
plan is.
Obviously, Ironwood can't give the order to drop the bomb if Chrome Robin have killed him or something. Agree.
And Watts and Cinder saw the broadcast. I assume the people with Mantle saw the broadcast. Everyone's seen it, so they're now no, they've got an hour to do this. It's going to be a lot of pressure and a big decision for them to make.
I'm just trying to see if there's been any word on the.
Are you looking? Yeah, see chapter 11.
Seemingly not yet.
No
information.
Well, they might be hanging on to it a bit. Very interesting. To make sure I do definitely watch it tomorrow and not delay. Well, I've got Monday off because it's a public holiday on Monday, so if I don't get up watching it tomorrow, I'll watch it on Monday. At least it is here. I'm not sure if it's Australia-wide holiday or not. Soon as 8-hour day or Labor Day.
Fair enough.
I totally forgot about until Thursday when they'll talk about work Monday being public holiday. I'm like, oh, is it? That might have been a bit awkward walking into work on Monday and no one's there.
Try to look at my calendar, but it's a bit too far away to see from here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've got 4 episodes left.
4 episodes left, and a lot could happen.
Cinder, Neo, RWBY stuff. We've got Crow, Robin.
Let us know your predictions too. If you're watching on YouTube, pop it in the comments. Of course, don't mention anything about Chapter 11. But yeah, what your predictions are as well. I heard torn. I don't know whether they're going to do. I know they wouldn't want to do what he's asking them to do, but they kind of got their hands tied unless they come up with a separate plan. But
that's what I'm curious if again if we'll end up with them just going down
to the vault with Penny.
I mean, to be fair, right now, at least, if they did just raise Atlas,
Yeah.
for right now, would that simply be okay? Because most of the Grim on the ground of Mantle have been dealt with.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not obviously a long-term solution, but I think for right now, raising Atlas...
Mantle could survive a little bit. The virus might kind of force their hands. It could do, yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, no one's defending them at the moment. They're just all huddled at the crater. There's no one manning the city. There's no one defending the city.
No, they're sort of fending for themselves.
The troops are probably pulled out at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't... I'm trying to imagine a hero's defeat this volume, which we all kind of assumed the hero's defeat this volume.
Yeah.
But if it comes a different way where everyone kind of just accepts and succumbs to Ironwood's plans, and therefore Ironwood doesn't become the antagonistic villain, he becomes the kind of reluctant villain.
Yeah.
Where heroes aren't fighting him, they just have to succumb to his demands. Because for right now, other than, as you said, Salem still being on Atlas, that's the only problem with that plan. Because I'm trying to think right now, if Atlas is raised, what is the consequences for immediately? And for now, there is none apart from Salem.
Yeah.
Which is the worst consequence, I must admit. But
because she's on Atlas, the whale's on Atlas.
Dropping a bomb on Mantle.
Yeah. Unless, like, they cut that part of the island off and that falls down.
I assume there probably will be a relief effort going on at the moment to clear up.
They need to get the whale off, and so Salem doesn't reappear. We don't know how that's going to work as well. She's completely vanished and is going to be coming back, or what?
I've got to mention too, like the whole thing about Atlas being able to sustain itself. A large amount of the agricultural section was just destroyed.
Yeah, that's true. It was.
That's going to cause a huge problem for their sustainability.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, because of all the Grim and the whale and everything.
Yeah, and the explosion, the battle. Too, like how much of the the agriculture was destroyed. So even if they do raise to Atlas, they might not be able to be up there for too long.
No. But I think we'll wrap it up there. Yes. Any final thoughts? Any questions anyone has in the chat for us as well? And comments on YouTube, of course.
Watching live or watching in the Twitch VOD or YouTube VOD, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, obviously, for the raid, and also anyone else.
Yes, thank you for the raid.
Thank you very much. We here just enjoy talking about RWBY every week whenever there's an episode. Talking amongst ourselves, and we love when you guys come along and kind of join in with the chat and stuff. But overall, thank you all for being here, Twitch, YouTube, etc. And just thank you very much, everyone.
All praise the Great One. Hey, you got your pop. I still haven't unboxed mine because I was going to record unboxing it and it hasn't happened. It looks so good. It
does look really good. This is my first time actually kind of getting like a kind of like proper Japanese kind of figure.
Yeah, rather than just
stuff. It is a bit smaller than it's a bit smaller than I was expecting. But then again, if I just held a ruler up, I could have actually seen how many inches it was. So I
think it's still a decent size, but yeah.
I thought it would have had a bit more articulation, but it doesn't really. It kind of just is static as it is.
Yeah.
But the scythe is awesome. Like to have that's just really cool.
It is really cool.
And this was like a little more than a third of what this behemoth was.
Yeah.
And I'd probably argue that the quality of the small one is probably better. So I think it's more than worth the.
Yeah. With Pocket Neo. It's gone. Wasteful. Yes. Pocket Neo. But thank you all for watching.
And Tasmanian Rock.
And Tasmanian Rock. Has the Boobcast gone live yet? I don't think they have. Well, thank you all for watching and hanging out with us. The Boobcast will be starting soon, so I'll make sure to host that when they go live.
Yeah, so if you want a bit more of RWBY content, then feel free to stick around. We've got a friend of ours podcast about to start, so you can go watch them and watch and hear their reactions and reviews of the episode and stuff.
Yeah, they'll be starting very soon, so go check out. It's called SheNoob. And if you're watching on YouTube, I believe all the Boobcasts are on the Twitch, SheNoob's Twitch channel, so make sure you come out.
One last thing I kind of forgot to mention. Not to toot my own horn here, but wait, let's see. Let me think this out. Yeah. So art stuff. Just if you see that, like if you like the art stuff on the layout and stuff.
Move, Maxie. I'm gonna run over your tail. Not this one, but the.
Sure, that one too. Sure. Like that, I do that at least twice a week over on DeviantArt and Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
So I do that. It's actually a funny story about the Ironwood piece in particular.
Yeah.
I remember I started that when the volume started.
Oh, right. And
it just on the lineup for it, and it was just there in the background while I was doing all my other stuff for the volume.
Yeah.
And then I took the break, when Rue took the break, and then so I finished it when I came back.
Right.
That
I love the RWBY one too.
The Ironwood one blew up. But that's any ones I've had that weren't retweeted by the official RWBY account. But actually, Jason LaRose.
Yes, I saw he had retweeted it. Yeah.
Not only quote retweeted it, but also DM'd me.
Oh, did he? Oh, nice.
And asked to use it. For,
cool.
I don't know what for, but he asked if he had permission to use it for, I assume, his own like promotional stuff. Maybe it's like a cameo stuff or like
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm assuming like when you see like a Twitter on like a voice actor on like a GalaxyCon.
Oh yeah, they'll have some artwork of the characters. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a thing, but I thought that was a cool thing to mention because I got DM'd by
that's so cool.
Voice actor. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I didn't charge him. I should have.
No. Nah. That's awesome.
But yeah, pay your artists. But okay, yeah. Sorry for that little tangent, but thank you everyone. Make sure you go and watch Bibcast.
Yes, we will. Yes, make sure you do. We'll wrap up there. We'll be back next week. The following week we should be fine. It's my brother's wedding, but that won't be till the afternoons. But I should be fine. But I'll let you all know.
Might have to go maybe an hour earlier, maybe.
We might need to go a little earlier, but yeah, I'll let you guys know. But we'll definitely next week's normal. All right, thank you all for watching. Have an awesome weekend. See you next week. Bye.